spot prawns. They're creepy, crawly, and delicious.
There we go.
Oh my God.
There we go.
In British Columbia, people go crazy for them.
But how do we get this sustainable jewel onto more tables across Canada?
I'm Robert Clark. As a chef, I have spent my entire career in the pursuit of sustainable seafood. Running some of the top restaurants in this country, I have cooked a few fish. And what I've learned is Canadian producers are at the heart of everything we should be eating.
I'm Carmen Ruiz Laza. As a consumer, I've made sourcing local Canadian seafood my mission. Rob and I are going to take you on a journey. We're going to meet the men and women that bring the sea to our tables.
Dig in, let's go.
It's May in Vancouver, which means two things.
It's spot prawn season. And it's raining.
Okay, Rob, it's Sunday morning, it's raining. Why am I out here? What are you doing to me?
Because this is the greatest day of the year. It's Spot Prawn Festival Day.
Prawns are North America's most popular seafood. Unfortunately, most of the prawns we eat in Canada are produced in environmentally unsustainable ponds in Southeast Asia.
But right here in Canada, we produce one of the best crustaceans in the world, the BC Spot Prawn.
It's sustainable, it's local, it's tasty. It's great for the fishery, it's great for society, it's great for our country. And spot prawns are like the greatest prawn in the world.
Look at you, your face changes when you talk about spot
Wait until
prawns.
we eat one.
Available fresh for just 1 month a year, this wild-caught gem has become a local favorite in Vancouver and all across the BC coast.
It's hard to believe that we've been harvesting spot prawns here since 1914, and it was only in 2006 when the Spot Prawn Festival started that they actually became an integral part of our food culture here in British Columbia.
Getting these prawns to our table wasn't easy. Until 2006, 97% of the harvest was shipped overseas.
As a chef trying to source local, sustainable seafood, that drove me crazy.
And luckily, one day I'm out on the water with my salmon fisherman, Steve Johansson, and I'm going on and I'm ranting and getting up on my pillbox going how backwards we are. Real cultures celebrate what they produce, but not here in BC.
Give them a really good rinse. Get all the bait out of them. They've been eating bait all night. And nice and clean. And then we put them down there where they're happy.
Fisherman Steve Johansson decided to buy a spot prawn license, and he became the first fisherman to supply local chefs with spot prawns. But these licenses don't come cheap. It was up to Rob to make Steve's investment worthwhile. Rob and Steve started the festival to introduce prawns to local chefs.
But it was the public that fell in love with them.
Hey, it's from Toronto, BC Spot.
Initially, our first one, we weren't really geared up for or even anticipating the general public, right? It was geared towards chefs. So, we had 8 or 10 chefs and we were boiling prawns and serving them with some salad. And it was just about exposing the chefs to how good that the prawns can be. But it just blew up with the general public.
All right, here we go. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody's having a great time today at the Spot Prawn Festival.
More and more fishermen are now selling BC spot prawns locally now that the demand has risen.
So, sir, what does spot prawns mean for you?
Spot prawns means to me that I'm getting to meet the public again. We have customers that have been coming here for years, and it's really nice seeing the customers.
How many years have you been fishing for spot prawns?
I've been fishing spot prawns for about 15 years. Nothing's easy when it comes to catching spot prawns.
Okay, we've talked enough about spot prawns. It's time for Carmen to see one up close.
I'm curious, but definitely a little bit apprehensive.
They have to
So
have
this,
spots.
this is spot prawn. Obviously, that's where it gets the name from. 4 spots. Whoa!
Sorry. Damn, it's alive.
So this is a strong one. That's what you want to see. Never ever buy dead prawns. If they have the head on, they better be moving. If they're not moving, they're not worth a penny a pound. What's important, there's an enzyme in the head that begins to eat the tail once it gets tired. So any prawns you buy off these boats, they'll be moving out 2, 3, 4 hours from now. You get them home, they'll still be moving. if you want the prawn to last longer than 4 or 5 hours, is you remove the head from the tail, and the tail will last in your fridge 4 or 5 days on ice, not a problem. Quality will remain the same, and it's very easy. So you just grab it and you just twist.
Yeah.
I push in a little bit because if you pull out, you get a bit of waste. So push in, twist, and pull out, and that's optimum.
Okay.
It's a little bit challenging to peel it when it's raw, even though, like, see how fresh it is. I mean, it's still coming.
I mean, look how beautiful
over.
that is. Is it moving still? Okay, give me that thing. It's not moving.
This is-
Oh, wow. That's like so sweet. That's really good.
And if you're a chef,
hooked.
you don't even have to have any talent or skill. Buy them and sell them.
So do you think that if we went out on the water, we'd have some good luck?
We need to get out on the water.
Yeah? Do you have somebody who will take us?
What are you doing tomorrow morning? I have friends.
Yes, you do.
Let's go see them.
All right, let's
Okay.
go fishing.
Let's go.
On Laskitty Island, one family has been fishing spot prawns for decades. As boat builders and fishermen, the Millicheeps are famous up and down the BC coast.
We were invited to visit them at the family boatyard as Graham was getting ready for the upcoming prawn season.
Laskitty Island is not easy to get to, so we got a ride with Captain Miles on one of Graham's fishing boats.
On the way, they pulled up a few traps for us, just in case the boys needed some lunch.
Here we go, boys. Yeah. Now we're talking. So this is what this show is about. This is what life in British Columbia is about. The unique thing about spot prawns, if you want to really get into it, is these puppies all start out as males. After 2 years, 3 years, they turn into females, lay their eggs, and then they die. And these, you can't get a more perfect food source or a way to harvest a food source. And that's, I mean, I just love them. I just love them. Wait until we taste them.
Rob's knowledge of spot prawns is vast, but at this point, I'm ready to see his skills in the kitchen. I think it's time to head to Laskitty Island to meet Graham and his father.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's a house actually just over there. That's where my dad was born, in the house just on the other side of the Steeler there. And then my grandfather, his dad, started a fishing company here in the 50s. My dad, he's restoring this boat right here.
It's beautiful.
It's supposed to be ready for prawns. It's kind of a long shot, but he just painted it the other day.
Graham and his father Jim have seen firsthand how the industry has changed.
My dad grew up on the island. They didn't have anything. They grew up in the Depression, and they became jippo loggers. And they were pretty good at that, but the market fluctuated too much, and so they decided to try something different. And they built a seine boat in a field over there.
In a field. I built
Yeah.
a boat in a field.
For the Millicheeps, you can tell that fishing runs in their blood.
He started fishing when he was 11 on that boat there. He was a skiff man. The one guy that was a skiff man fell over backwards, and he ended up putting his hand in the pinch point when it was coming up and chopped a couple of his fingers off.
So you thought your 11-year-old son would make a perfect
Well, he was
replacement.
out there for the ride, so he had to take over.
Graham estimates 25 families rely directly on the income produced by his spot prawn boats.
The spot prawn fishery. How important it is for your living?
It's my main, it is my living.
It is your living?
The live fishery is local, that's why I got into that, is
Yeah.
because I could be around to see my kids a little bit during the season.
Do your girls like spot prawns? Like,
Oh,
do you
they
guys?
love it, yeah.
Do you guys
Yeah.
eat spot prawns at home?
Yeah, she loves them.
She's quite forward
You
thinking.
know how to do this?
Oh yeah, I can certainly
Come
do
on.
that stuff.
Everybody.
I'm too slow.
I don't think you want my hands in there. The prawn industry is really taken off. It was a slow start. Like, the people used to do it in the 70s, made no money. There wasn't much prawns. They didn't know how to catch them properly, and there was no market for them. Like, they were getting like $2.50 a pound, and they're lucky to get 300 pounds with like 1,000 traps.
All the guys that we have that work with us are all young. They all got families, and they're all like in their mid-20s to mid-40s.
Since Graham sent one of his boats to pick us up, Rob decided to whip up a special treat for father and son.
I want to show how simple and easy it is to cook with these delicious spot prawns.
So what is this, chef?
Well, it's just ceviche or marinated. It's just some lime juice, lemon juice, some olive oil, salt, pepper, shallot, some chives,
wow.
mint, but it's mint.
Yeah.
So the mint's a little bit different than some radish. Yeah.
Nice and firm.
Oh, the prawns are.
Yeah.
You should have seen, but that's
I'd eat that. I could eat that almost every day.
It's good, isn't it?
fresh. You know, it's really.
Keep going. As good as Rob's ceviche is, Graham is antsy to get going.
The spot prawn season is about to start for real. He still has a lot of work to do.
When Graham leaves, he'll be gone for over a month. Commercial fishing is serious business. It's been a week since we met Graham and Jim on Lasqueti Island, and now we're on a boat in the middle of Georgia Strait. So you've brought us out to the middle of nowhere to meet Graham, and of course I know it's a secret location. We can
Obviously, it's so secret we can't even find him. I don't even know where he's supposed to be here.
We agreed to meet on the water. The only problem is we never knew it would be quite this difficult to find him.
How's it going? Would you consider letting us coming on board?
I think so, yeah. We got to find a way to get you on here, though. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, really.
The water's a little bit too choppy to jump from boat to boat, so we decided to watch Graham operate for a bit.
So the knot holds the trap in place along the line. So he just hooks it on and you see the knot pulls it out. They don't throw it out, the knot pulls it out. You see there, you see?
Yeah.
So that knot will keep that prawn trap separated from the other prawn trap.
So he's hooking it on the knot.
He's hooking it on the rope and the knot pulls it off.
Fishing is one of the most dangerous occupations in the world.
This is the most important part, is where the traps will hit the bottom. And it's also the most dangerous part because the rope is going out. So if that rope was to tie around somebody's feet, the weight behind that in the engine will pull the person over. You'll notice that all the guys have knives. There's knives all over the place on the boat, on a prawn boat, and they carry them on themselves just in case they accidentally. So it's the most dangerous part of prawning is right now when they're setting.
After dropping his last set, Graham invited us aboard the Lasqueti Pearl to see him and the crew working up close.
So this is the action right here.
We are now going to witness the harvesting of spot prawns. So they've unhooked the line and now they're running it through a hydraulic winch because they're too heavy to pull up by hand.
Yeah.
Trap's going to come up. The captain's going to unhook it and hand it to this guy. Man number 2 will unhook the basket and empty the prawns, pass it to guy number 3, who will rebait and set the trap over there out of the road so it's lined up for them to reset at the end of their pull. So now they're sorting, so you see they can't keep the small ones, so they're chucking the undersized ones out. So we just witnessed another example of why the fishery is so sustainable. So regardless of what they pull up, it's only spot prawns they're going to be keeping.
Like I really feel like I'm in the way here because this is a fine-tuned, fast-moving machine.
Graham was generous enough to let an amateur like me sort through the catch.
Holy cow. Woo!
You undo the bungee here.
Yeah, I do that. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Upper body strength.
And then, oh
Holy
God.
Cow. And there's some on the other side. You gotta lift it. Holy cow, upper body strength on unstable ground. So that's a small one.
That's a shrimp.
That's a shrimp. That's
Yep.
pink.
This is a king shrimp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you gotta know by sight.
So now grab these,
Okay.
take this prawn, and hook it in just behind his eyeball.
Okay.
That one doesn't make it.
And that's the head already. Sorry, guy, you get to go swimming for next season.
Throwing back the undersized prawns is critical to their continued sustainability. And that's something these fishermen take very seriously.
I think this basket's full.
And do 2 hands like that.
Yeah,
Close
it's
the
heavy.
basket. 1 bungee here, 1 bungee there, and then you just want to
And
open
what
that.
is in here?
And then this is the live
wow.
tank. So this is where all the prawns go. All of them will sit here in the front, and then or in the back, and I'll transfer them to the front after the end of every string. And yeah, this is what keeps the prawns alive until we get them to the live truck.
We have a chiller system on here. which chills the seawater down to about 36, 37 degrees
To
Fahrenheit.
their temperature.
Yes. We'll transport them directly from the hold, directly onto a dolly. They're only out of the live tank for less than 5 minutes, and they're completely submerged into another tote with fresh water that's at the same temperature, the same salinity, and then they go straight to the live market.
Like, why are you so heart-bent, and all of your colleagues, all the fishermen, on keeping this industry alive?
I want to spend my time fishing something that I know that could be sold locally. I feel that there's a future in this fishery, though, and I feel that I like a long future.
In this specific fishery?
In this specific fishery, for sure. The way that it's managed, absolutely, yes.
And so I'm keeping you from fishing.
Right now you are, yeah.
Oh my God, so I'm costing you a lot of money.
No, you're not costing me money, but you're going to probably piss off the live truck driver.
So tonight's menu might be altered because of my talking away.
I'll just blame it on you guys.
So how about I get out of the way and let you gentlemen continue?
Okay.
Brought to you in part by Ocean Regenerative Aquaculture and CKR Seaweed. Your Nation's Table is brought to you in part by Mission Hill Family Estate Winery.
To celebrate the fishers that bring this bounty to our tables, we decided to throw a feast at Popina Canteen on Granville Island.
It's such a great way to get family and friends around a table to enjoy the best of BC seafood.
Well, this looks beautiful, Chef.
We're going to have a prawn boil today. And I want to show you how simple it is to entertain 10, 15, 20 people. Prawns are so great, they don't need a lot of work, so we're just going to boil them up and pour them on the table. So I got this nice piece of wood. We need to protect this, so we're just going to lay down some brown butcher paper. If you can help me. Get it laid out? Yeah, it doesn't have to be. They're friends and chefs and fishermen. It doesn't have to be
fancy.
Fancy? This is great. We just want to protect the wood because the prawns are just going to go on the table. We're going to eat with our hands, and that's just straightforward. I'm going to show you some sauces that I've made, and that'll be enough. That's good.
Wow.
Okay, so here's the prawns, and you see they're still moving around. So that's a good sign. Okay, so that means they're alive, which means it's going to be great.
So when you buy them on the dock, how long before you have to cook them? If you buy them fresh?
Anytime you get them on the dock, like from 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it doesn't matter. They're good for that evening. What's important is if you're don't going to eat them that night or cook them that night, you got to take the heads off. So we have some sauces. So with spot prawns, they don't need a lot of big, bold flavors because they taste so good themselves. So I just made up a Mary Rose sauce or cocktail sauce, very popular in England. Yeah. I have some saffron and garlic aioli, very little garlic. And then we have some ponzu. This is like homemade ponzu. It's wonderful. And so these three are cold. And then we're going to do a warm one. I'm just going to warm up this butter.
Just a little butter?
Just a little butter. We're going to put some seaweed. This is mackerel kelp.
And you love seaweed.
I love seaweed. I love it. It just adds so much to it. And then we're just going to add some lemon juice. And we're going to melt this. And lemon juice. So if you grab this, we're going to take it and heat it up on the stove. I'm going to grab the prawns, and I'm going to show you how simple it is.
All right, then. It smells good. All right, Chef. Wow, there's steam coming out of that pot.
So now we just have some salt, a little bit of salt. You don't need to use as much because I'm going to add some seaweed. And that's it. You just pour it in. Woo! And we don't want it there for more than a minute. Okay. Take some seaweed. So this is just going to add some umami.
Wow.
So do you have a stopwatch? No.
No, but we can count. Oh wow, look at that. They're already turning color.
Yeah, they're almost there already. So not even a minute.
That's fairly fast.
Yeah.
So is that a problem? You think a lot of people overcook them and then...
That is the number one problem is people overcook them.
Wow.
So you see how fast and how simple that is?
Wow.
Very straightforward. The seaweed is great to eat as well. You know, it's a great vegetable. Wow. So what I'm going to do,
that feels really good.
So the steam is keeping them hot, but it's not cooking them anymore. I'm just going to go get a few vegetables that I've already blanched, toss it in there with some butter, and our friends are ready to eat. So, Chef, what are we going to pair this with? We have the 2020 Reserve Mission Hill Sauvignon Blanc. It's phenomenal. It's so made for things like spot prawns. You know, like the citrus, the passion fruit. It's just so bright. It's just going to cut right through the richness of this, and it's going to be a perfect thing. Can't wait. Is the wine open? Yes, sir. Okay. It's ready for us. We are good to go. Let's get in there, out of the rain.
Hey, friends, it's eating time. Oh my God.
Okay, dig in, let's go.
Spot prawns are just such a part of who we are here in British Columbia, and it's spread across the country over the years. It's such an amazing story, and it's got to be one of the most amazing, successful food stories, not just in the country, but in the world. And I mean that. I mean, it's just, it blows me away. We've been doing this Spot Prawn Festival now for, 17 years, and every year I think, oh, it's not going to happen again the way it always happens. The frenzy must be over with, but it's even busier this year. And it's because people, I think, appreciate it the way I do, and many other chefs that I deal with, and culinary people, and people that just want to support local too. There's that whole side of things too, right? Oh, and they're really yummy. Yeah, that's a big part of it.
I want to raise a glass to every man and woman out in the high seas, risking life and limb daily, and especially during the festival, so we can get to meet them. So for them,
Cheers.
salud.
Salud.